Good evening, folks. Here we are, finally, for the 1959D foil wrapped Fed roll. Looks like we've got Jeff Dunn and Wanda Williams in here right now, along with maybe a couple of other people. We're going to go ahead and get started because it's going to take me a little while to get this unwrapped. I mean, this thing is multiple layers of wrapping. Have no idea what's inside. This is exactly how I got the roll, and I have no idea of anything else. I got the roll. I put this sticker on the end of it so I would know what it was. And now I'm going to search for the ends of the tape and pull the tape off. Listen to this. That's old tape right there. That's old tape. Alright. Hey, Adam and Jeff Dunn, how you guys doing? In here finally for this roll. That might be chat from an earlier version of this. I wasn't able to get to it when I was supposed to. And here we are now, though. We are live and ready to go. Taking this tape off of this thing. Okay, I get the tape off of the label area. Looking for the end of it. It's going to take me a little while to get this thing open. I knew that would be the case. There we go. There's the end of that tape right there. And the last piece of tape. Or maybe is. No, it's not the last one. That's the one holding the label on. You don't know if you got a dog in this hunt. I don't know if you do either, actually. I can't tell you because I've done so many steps toward getting so many different things ready. I can't remember what was what. There we go. There's our last piece of tape around the foil. Now I'm going to take the foil off. I'm telling you, some of the coins that came out of some of these rolls were just awesome. Now, this is the first 1959D roll that's been opened, and it will be the last 1959D roll opened of this particular batch because there was only one 1959D roll in the lot. I don't know if he just didn't collect them or if the person from whom I got the rolls had already rid himself of some of them prior to selling to me. Not sure one way or the other. This is not going to come off nicely. This is going to make itself a difficult deer. Here we go. Yeah, I don't want to use an X-Acto knife on this. I'd rather be able to get it off rather cleanly. Here comes the last of the foil. Okay, that's the last of the foil. Now we've got the paper wrapping. And the paper wrapping here says 1959D. It looks like it says Corn X. So it must be a one of those corn exchange banks. Let's see if I can get this. This will prove to be one of the more difficult rolls I've tried to get open in a long time. So, here is that level. There we go. And get the paper off of it. Fat chance I've rewrapped this. It would be very obvious if I had. There we go. There's our roll right there. I'm not seeing any fantastic toning in here. I thought most of these had toning in them. But 1959D, well, it says corn on it, but I'm not sure why. It's from Coin Auditing Systems Incorporated. That's the wrapper. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get it open. Got my trusty tool for that. Alright, here we go. The good part is that it's 59D. The bad part is that it's the only 59D roll in the bunch, so we can't use it as an example of what we might find in the other rolls because there aren't any others. This is it. I do still have some of the 1961 plain and 1962 plain rolls from this particular collection, where the person who collected these rolls did the same thing with those rolls as they did with this one. Wrapped it up really well. Okay, now we've got the roll open. I've got a mess. Look at all this that was around this. That's a lot of stuff that was around this roll. Alright, there goes that. And here we go. Wrapper over the coins, just like I usually do. And there we go. There's our coins. They look nice and bright. Let's go ahead and get started. Coin number 1. It's going to go to Adam Connor. Coin number 1 goes to Adam Connor. Let's see what's on coin number 1. Wait a minute. Let me put this down so I can see what I'm doing. Let me blow this up just a little bit and bring it up to full screen for you. And zoom this out just a little bit. Refocus America. There we go. Now, ready to go. What do we have here? Oh, come on. Don't do this to me today. Oh. I don't see an RPM here. No eyelid. No doubling in Liberty Birdie. Hello, Mr. Jacobs and Mr. Harding. I hope you guys are doing well today. We're just watching the opening of a roll that came straight out of foil and paper from the 1950s. It's 1959. Denver Mint, to be specific. Opening this roll up and going through it for the people who purchased spots in this roll. So there's coin number 1. Does not appear to be anything special. Move on to coin number 2. Number 2 goes to Paul Hampton. And Paul Hampton's coin looks like this right here. Well, if I can ever get my stupid scope to behave. Actually, it's the camera, not the scope. Let me take the exposure thing away. Let's see what we're doing. Let me get zoomed in just a little bit more here. There we go. Now let's see what we have. Not seeing anything especially eye-catching here. Oh, there's Natural Tendencies. Hello. You have a spot in one of the rolls that we're getting ready to do, but I can't remember. You have more than one spot, actually. You have 3 spots in one of the rolls we're getting ready to do, but I can't remember which one it was. I'm sorry about all the drag and all the other issues. It seems like I guess I need to restart my computer before each time I use this scope. Because when I'm doing photographs of coins, I don't move them around this much, so I don't notice this. I only notice this when I'm trying to do searching using this scope. Look at all the die scratches on this. It's almost like an old broken record. Lots and lots of die scratches. So the consensus opinion is generally that if you wrap coins in any sort of tissue paper and then or wrap them in foil, or you do both, you're going to end up with coins that are very well protected, but that will tone because of the material they are wrapped in. And that is sometimes true. That is sometimes not true. Here's coin number 3, Joe McBride. In this particular case, it appears to have not been true. The coins are relatively well kept, but they are not toned. And for being relatively well kept, we're talking about business strike coins made at the Denver Mint in 1959. We're not talking about proof coins. We're not talking about mint set coins. We're not talking about anything satin or special or anything to that effect. We're talking about 19 millimeter discs of metal in which a design was imposed to be, or impressed, to be placed into circulation as a means of commerce worth 1 cent. Nobody cared whether or not there were die scratches, die whatever, gouges, cracks, or whatever. They had specific rules that they were trying to follow with regard to. I'm seeing a little bit of thickness, which is why I'm trying to find any notching that'll show me a double die, but I just don't see it. And so to that end, we look for the things that the mint did not notice, but they would not have allowed had they known it existed. They probably did not even know there were minting die varieties when they were. And when they weren't, well, everything was normal. So for us to go through rolls and not find die varieties just means that they were doing their job, which wasn't often. All right, here's Doug Reese. Doug Reese gets coin number 4. Doug Reese coin number 4. I'm going to start to speed up just a little bit as we get a little more used to the dies that we have here. Get my nose into this roll and know what I'm doing and can sniff them out. Let me focus this up a little bit better. There we go. And use my camera as exposure and gain tool to get more of an even shot of everything. I may not be talking into the scope all the time. That's kind of like I'm talking to myself, but I need to be talking into my scope because I should be talking to you instead. Honestly, I can't remember exactly when I'm doing 218 and 219. I believe I scheduled 218 for this evening and 219 for tomorrow. I have the roll sitting right in front of me, so as soon as I get done with this one, I can go ahead and work on getting the other shows done. I've got to get dinner at some point, because I did not eat dinner before I came into this. I was packaging packages, getting them to the post office from the auction yesterday, along with last week and the week before that. And working on some of the new dies that we have from the reveals that we've done before now. So far, this roll has proven to be unfortunate and very easy. Absolutely nothing found here so far. Get my lighting a little bit better here. There. That ought to help us see things. I moved my light closer to the coin. There we go. Now we'll see it. If it's there, we're going to see it. Yeah, that's, Jeff, that's because, well, let me check and make sure I've got my gain set up on here. Turn it up some. There we go. How about that? Is that any better? Does anybody hear me any better? Hello, Amber. We doing better on audio now, Jeff? Sounds good. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. There we go. I think we're doing better. Much better. Okay. I'm doing much better now. Hey, look at that. Wow. Good gosh. That looks like a splitting headache to me. Let's back this up and take a good look at it. There we go. A big giant splitting headache to me. A bit of a die crack going all the way down the shoulder to the rim there. So this looks like it could have actually turned into a split die after a while. But not in this particular stage. Check 1 2 here. Can I get a 3 3 3? Check check 1 1 2 2 3 3. Is that any better? Does everybody hear me? I'm kind of thinking that it looks almost like we're going to run into a double die in this roll. But I just haven't seen anything to prove itself yet. And we don't really have any double dies known for 1959D to my knowledge. We may have one or two. This one's going to go to Justin Busman. Hey, what about that? That's strange. There's a 59 plane in our 59D roll. I don't know that I've ever seen that. We know this roll was original when it was wrapped. I mean, the way it was wrapped and everything, it's got to be an original roll. Who stuck a 59 plain penny in our 59Ds? You got me in surround sound? Is that going to do you any good? Let's see if there's anything on the reverse of this 59 plane. There are double die reverses known for the 1959 plane. This one does not happen to be one of them, as it appears. This one's going to Justin Busman. And it looks like we don't really have anything on the reverse of this coin. Well, let's keep digging and see what we see. That's kind of strange. Here's coin number 7, Mike Birchman. Well, this one has a mint mark. Not seeing anything on the obverse here. Hello, Bill. Adam Chambers. Oh, we got snow someplace? Yeah, not in North Carolina, I can tell you that for sure. I think we got up to about 70 degrees today. Somewhere in the mid-60s up to about 70, somewhere in there. It's a rather comfortable day. We would have considered it a really nice day if we'd already had snow this year, but we have not. Have not had snow, and we don't foresee any snow anytime soon that I know of. Snow in Iowa? Adam's talking about being in Des Moines. What's Adam doing in Des Moines? What are you doing in Iowa, Adam? Should stay in Missouri where the weather's better. Let's see. So you got snow in Iowa. Yuck. Yeah. Y'all folks up in Iowa, you can keep that weather. Yeah, I don't know if this is an RPM or not, and if it is, it's not a very big one. It is. It's a minor RPM with a split serif stuck out the bottom there. So, For this one, we'll look for a nice marker, which we can use to pick further examples out. Yeah, looks like I might have just found it. Looks like there's a couple of dots and a dash over there underneath the one up against the vest. Let's see what else we have on this, to see if there's anything remarkable that we can use. Nice big die scratch inside the bottom of the R. That die scratch headed from the vest, from the jacket color to the Y. Okay, whoever is... Yeah, I forgot to turn my phone down. There we go. Not going to be bothered by that anymore. Yep, nothing on that one. So we got the doubled mint mark there, just a small RPM. Nothing else on the coin for doubling. I'll look here on the reverse real quick. See what we come out with on the reverse. And it looks like, again, we have no doubling on the reverse. So this will be our first RPM for the day. This is going to be quads.com. Well, let's get to coin number 9. DN and coin number 9. Well, there's another 59 plane. They must have mixed bags or something when they were pouring it into the hopper to feed this rolling machine. Turns out this is a 59 plane and D-roll. Unless there's some chance that you might be looking at a 59D with the D polished off the die. Got nothing on this particular coin. That one's for DN. Hello, JC Will. Now let's look at coin number 10 for Adam Connor. I don't think so, Wandum. Crack connecting. No, here's another 59 plane. So this is a different die here. It's a 59 plane and D-roll. So it looks like it has both mints in this roll. Not really sure how that happened. I haven't seen it before. This will be my first time seeing this. I have seen bank wrap rolls that have circulated coins inside. I've seen bank wrapped rolls that, well, I have seen 1969 S bank wrapped rolls that had a few D and P mint coins in it, along with some 68s and 67, 66. It was basically a relatively recent amount of pocket change that had been dumped into the hopper with an original bag of 69S and got all wrapped up together at Bank of America. They don't care, see. That's just something that we have to understand as we're going through these rolls. We can't guarantee that all of them are going to be the same date and mint mark by looking at the outside coins on the roll. It just doesn't generally happen that we could guarantee anything like that. We try to. I mean, we try to look at it and justify whether it is... Okay, this is that same die again. This is another RPN. Same thing Quad's got there. We're going to zoom in, take a good close look at it. Got a little fleck of metal right on the split of the baby split serif on the lower part of the mint mark here. I'm trying to get it where that part is visible. I don't know if this is going to be listable. I don't know if it's going to be enough for us to do anything with it. Gotta get that little flick of metal off the bottom of the mint mark. Oh, come on. I don't know that that's even the same die, now that I'm looking at it. Doesn't look like there's any doubling at all there. Let's see. Should have that split head. No, I don't think this is the same die at all. Oh, yeah, it is. There's that die scratch off the Y. You got the heavy die dot on the bottom of the R. It is the same die. But it doesn't look like this one's an RPM, which tells me that neither one of them are. Have I ever seen distended doubling on a Lincoln wheat cent that has extreme spread just on trust going toward the rim? Just on trust? I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, if you want to send me a picture of it, I'll let you know what I think. But I'm going to right off the top say, nope, haven't seen it and don't know about that. Sounds a little on the fishy side to me. This looks like another example of that same die again, so let me try to focus in on the lower serif and see if I can see doubling on the lower serif on this one. Haven't been very lucky in trying to pull that out since the first coin I looked at. I can see that there's a shave, just a little shiver shave of another D there, but that's not going to be listable. I don't know what I was seeing on that first coin. So unfortunately, we're not going to have an RPM out of this. Just not really there. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's not there enough to be seen. There we go. I don't know yet if the 59P are the same dies. The 59D definitely are. Well, they're not all the same die, but there's a few different dies that are represented by all the coins in the roll. It is original. I don't understand how we get different mints in one bank wrapped roll, but I suppose it can happen. I mean, it did right here. There's a nice RPM. There's a nice little split upper and lower. That's actually got a vertical bar doubling too. You see it right there. The upper serif and the lower serif, and the vertical bar is doubled. We refocus now that it's in the center of the screen. There you go. Oh, I'm sorry. That's lucky coin number 13. Quads gets this one. Quads get this little guy. Pretty coin. Don't know which RPM it is, but I'm sure it is one. Alright, let's see if there's anything else going on with this one. Nice die cracks and die scratches on this one to help us identify this. There's a die chip in the lower B of Liberty. That'll help us even further. And there's a huge die gouge right there on the lapel, on the outside edge of the lapel. It looks like paper that was torn off of a wall. It's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the reverse on this one and see if there's anything going on with the reverse. This one is definitely going to be pulled out as an RPM. RPM for absolute sure. That is coin number 13. Coin number 13 is going to go down here in the lower corner as a definite RPM. I'm still kind of on the wall about the other one. I don't think it is. So I'll keep them separated so I can just toss it out. Mike Birchman's going to get this coin, and it is another one of the same RPM again. So the same die that we just got out of the roll. We've got another one now. Nice big old hump below the L of Liberty. And on the reverse side, there's got a lot of markers. A lot of markers to help us out. Absolutely. More markers you have, generally the easier it is to attribute a die variety, because you give yourself proof that your coin came from the same die as one that was photographed profusely, rather than one that there was only one or two photographs of. Here's another 1959, and this is the same die as one I've seen before, so it is a mixed original bag of 59 mixed with an original bag of 1959D, and they were wrapped together. So far, nothing has come from the 1959s. So far. This one's for Majestic. And we're going to move on to coin number 16 now. Coin number 16 is for Joe McBride. This is kind of an unusual roll. We've got the ever slightest hump on the top of the mint mark, but it's not going to be enough. So there's just a little bit of a tiny RPM there, but it's one of those 100 power type RPMs. If you zoom it up enough to photograph it, you could probably shoot an aphid between the eyes. We'll just stand back and watch. Here's coin number 17 now. Sireg, the owner of this coin. And not another RPM. So how does a Philly bag get mixed with a Denver bag? Well, you could be somewhere toward the center of the nation where the distribution areas overlap. I used to live in Memphis, and in Memphis sometimes you would get Philadelphia bags, sometimes you would get Denver bags. And so like I said, the coins are not wrapped at the mint. The coins are bagged at the mint. They were bagged at the mint and sent out to the Fed Reserve System, which in turn shipped them out to different banks. The banks would wrap them as they saw need, and a lot of the hoppers that the banks used would fit more than one bag at a time. And it is also very possible that they could have wrapped most of a Philadelphia bag and then poured the Denver bag in when the Philadelphia bag was just about empty. Nobody would have been the wiser. Nobody would have any idea. So very easy that you could get coins minted in Philadelphia and Denver in the same rolls. It is very possible. Okay, this is the same die again as the little bit of doubling on the bottom of the D, and I think we're going to just let that die fall off the edge because it really isn't anything for us to be necessarily accounting for. So we're going to let it go. Thank you, Hawkeye. I appreciate the message. Used to be when there were 3 different mints doing the distribution, you would end up with bags of San Francisco coins from roughly Utah West, Nevada and California, Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. And you get Denver coins from Colorado West to about the Mississippi River. Looks like a struck through of some sort. Interesting little guy. Oh, it's another 59 Philly. And then for the Philadelphia coins, you would generally look east of the Mississippi River. Anywhere that you are anywhere near one of those boundaries, it was actually relatively common for distribution of both different mints on that borderline to be distributed to any bank near that borderline. So, for instance, Mississippi River, you've got St. Louis, you've got Memphis, you've got New Orleans, you've got points in Mississippi and Iowa, Burlington, Iowa for one, Sioux City, Iowa, Davenport, Iowa. Any of those places had any chance, any good chance of being able to find a Philadelphia roll or a Denver roll at the bank, find Philadelphia and Denver coins together in circulation. It was relatively common. Generally, they would go all the way through bags before they would reload the hopper. And if they did reload the hopper, they'd be reloading the hopper with another roll of the same mint, generally. Another bag of the same mint. But that was not always true. I know of someone who went to the bank one time. I'm not really sure whether or not this was a collector bag turned in or whether it was something that just went there at one point in time and stayed there. But it was in northern Pennsylvania. Somebody I know found a 1968 S bag in a bank in Pennsylvania. So try to answer that. In the state where Philadelphia mint coins were minted, you find a bag of San Francisco coins at a bank, purchased for $50, no premium, and it was a BU bag of 1968S. Yeah, all the dies were made in Philly, but they were generally shipped, generally meaning I can't prove they ever were or were not, but they were supposed to have been shipped to their branch mints after they had mint marks applied to them at the Philadelphia Mint. But again, we're talking about a financial system. We're not talking about a coin collector system. So the financial system, things went whatever way they needed it to go. They did whatever they needed to do in getting coins sorted and distributed. And they didn't hold back the idea of mixing coins up when they needed to. Oh, there's another one of our RPMs right there. So there's one decent RPM in this roll, 1959D RPM. Check this side for any error issues for us to discuss if it need be. Other than the typical markers, I see nothing. That's for Paul Hampton. Coin number 25 now, halfway through the roll, Adam Connor. And what is this? Okay, folks, this could be a very interesting coin. I don't know what this is exactly. Anybody have any clue what kind of fiber this is? It looks like seaweed. That is very strange. I'm going to leave that on the coin for the coin's owner. It is a 59D. It is not an RPM. Is that Larry's hair? It is actually too small to be hair. It's actually too small to be hair. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Interesting and strange it is, that's for sure. It looks like fiber, like string. Yeah. Sir Reg. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like string. Nope, not spider web. It's not silk. It's a harder fiber. Let's see what the other side looks like. It's a little tiny bit of a lamination peel. I don't see anything else unusual on the reverse. Anyhow. So that is... Oh, it came off. It fell off. There it is, whatever it is. It fell off the coin. That is string. You can see how it's twisted. Well, was it struck into the coin? No, it looks like it was just wrapped with the coin. So it wasn't really attached to the coin at all. It was just kind of laying there. So we can move on. It is string. Very odd. That is true. Very odd. All right, now coin number 26 will go to Doug Reese. Let's take a look and see what we get on coin number 26. Nice coin, but no repunchment mark. And I don't see any hub doubling either. It's anybody's guess as to what it is without putting it through a mass spectrometer or something to find out what elements it contains. And even at that, not sure what you're going to find regarding exactly what it is. I'm thinking there's some chance. The Fed Reserve used to use binding twine to seal. They would lead seal bags after they'd opened them up from the mint, or they would. Generally, what would happen is the mint would send the bags out to the Fed Reserve System. The Fed Reserve System would wrap the rolls, and then they would put those rolls back inside the same bags or into their own Fed Reserve bags, and they would seal those bags with string, twine. And they would send them off to a bank, and then the bank would get them out And if they were loose, they would count them up and wrap them. If they were not loose, they would just pull the rolls out and start using them. But there are many layers to how coins were distributed back in these days and how they're distributed now, which is a different story altogether. Back then, there weren't very many armored carriers that they would employ to do something like this. The Fed or the banks generally did most of that. So I'm thinking there's some chance that that could be a piece of string from the bag that held these together at some point. Could be a piece of string that come off a tool that they were using, maybe something that was hung up with a string. It could be actually a piece of yarn from a mop. It could be a lot of different things. So now the Philadelphia coin in our roll here. I welcome the Philadelphia coins when there's not really much in the way of mint marks going on because, well, Philadelphia coins you're more likely to find double dies. So we're not really losing anything with the Philadelphia coins in here other than the idea that we're going to get a lot of one single die because, well, they're mixed. I find that to be... This is the first time I've ever seen this happen. But that, I mean, I know it does. I've heard of it happening before. I just hadn't seen it. Now I've seen it. There's another Philly coin. Looks like Spock's eyebrow. It's just not logical. Could have come from cardboard flips. These coins have never seen cardboard flips. These coins came straight out of bank-wrapped rolls. I don't use cardboard flips, don't even own them. Well, I do, but I use them as space dividers for my boxes and drawers. I don't use them for coins because you have to staple them. And I refuse to get a staple anywhere near a coin. And I wish everyone else would follow that same idea. Next coin, Yo Man. This has turned out to be unusual, somewhat anticlimactic. I was hoping for a roll full of toned RPMs. But it's not what we got. So we take the lumps we're given and learn how to swallow them. I guess that's the way it works. Defies logic. Yeah, I guess it sort of does, but it doesn't. Because logically, I don't see why it didn't happen more often, actually, than I would assume. Got a coin on eBay and it was stapled into a flip. That's kind of a counterproductive thing. 3 Sereg. Sequin number 32 goes to Paul Hampton here. Another 59 plain. I'd love for one of these plain coins to be a double die. That would be just all kinds of cool. Nope, not there. Now, coin number 33 goes to Majestic Sounds of Coins. And we have another Philly Mint. Bill, how you doing, buddy? Bill Cresson. And Doug, how you doing, Doug? Bill, how you feeling, buddy? I sent you an email yesterday looking in on you, and I didn't get a reply. It really worried me. But that's my problem, not yours. So how are you feeling? For those of you who are not familiar with the news of the group, Bill Cresson has COVID and is working on getting over COVID. Been sleeping a lot, but are you okay? Would I mind explaining what a foil wrap Fed roll is? Well, it turns out that it wasn't a Fed roll, but it was foil wrapped, just like this roll. This is a roll. It was wrapped. It was a roll that was in an original bank wrapper. Then it was wrapped up in paper, and then it was wrapped up in foil on the outside. And I bought a group of rolls that were like this, and I've been slowly going through or selling a number of them. And I thought, well, we'll try one of these on a reveal and see what happens. And it's not been a highly impressive roll. It's been there, but not highly impressive. Well, Bill, you do what you can to take care, buddy. And if you end up in the hospital, make sure somebody at least drops me a line. Let me know what's going on, because I worry about you. We've lost a couple of different people over the last year. I have no idea what happened to them. I really kind of wish people would tell me when they decide that they're just going to stop coming to the auctions, because I worry about them until I know they're safe. I don't know, Bill. I'm tired most of the time. It's my medication causing it, though. Another 59D. Well, Bill, I certainly hope you get better very soon. I hope your suffering ends quicker than you could imagine, and you just get better and everything's all fine, and you go back to doing what you do and enjoy doing. This pandemic has a bunch of people scared, a bunch of people mad, and a bunch of people mad at people who are scared. So it's really kind of difficult to navigate. Coin number 36 now for Chuck Patillo. And nothing on the obverse. There's a nice little die crack on that one. I've been asked a couple of different times if I was going to be attending the fun show down in Florida in January, and I think I'm just going to skip it. I just don't see a point. If we are not at risk, then I'll be not at risk staying home. But if we are at risk, I'll be not at risk staying home. So I would rather it be a case where I know that I'm not going to get it, or got a pretty good, reasonable expectation that I'm not going to get it because I'm staying home pretty much all the time. That's very normal for my life. I've been in virtual lockdown for many years. I get out and I go places, but I generally don't get out of the car. If I do get out of the car, usually it's in the woods or at a beach or something like that where I'm pretty much separated from everyone else. Yeah, I never thought this was a hoax. I never thought it was a, like an excuse to control you, which some people believe it is. I also don't believe that wearing masks or the idea of wearing masks is a part of a political move. I do believe it is part of a scientific move where the doctors are trying to get you to understand that this is a very, very contagious problem that we have, and they're trying to get people to abide by the recommendation that wearing a mask, regardless of what kind of mask, can protect you. Steve, generally no. I probably should, but I don't. The way I handle the coins, I look at them the same way pretty much every time, so I recognize I'm looking at the same features every time I look at another coin, and I'm picking up on certain areas of the coin, but when I flip it over, I'm not necessarily 100% careful about exactly what orientation I use when I flip the coin over. I just flip it over. Now, when I'm using my normal way of viewing rolls of coins, I can actually take a coin and put it in my little holder that I use, and then when I flip them over, I can tell if anything's off kilter. But I generally don't even look for that. I probably should, but I don't. There's a 1959 plane that's an earlier dice date coin. This one's a very sharp design. It's got a little flake of lamination right there and between the E and the R that's not stuck to the coin, so it will come off very readily and possibly before you even receive it, because those kinds of things, once they come out of the roll, they just kind of dislodge themselves and move away. But I'm going to carefully handle the coin, hoping that Justin will get the coin as I got it out of the roll. Yo, man, with the next coin, that's coin number 41 now. Looks like we've run out of luck on those RPMs that we were getting. Yeah, yo, man. Basically what happened was I created a label and realized that I had already created a label, and now I've got to find that label and figure out what's going on with it so I can package your package together and send it off tomorrow. But the postage I bought today was presumably unnecessary. If it was necessary, then I'll buy postage again and you'll get another message. But until I actually turn the package into the post office and it's scanned into the system to be delivered, I wouldn't worry too much about any. They make you give a reason when you want to void a label, and it's not because I don't want to use the label. It's because the postage is destroyed, or I changed my mind, or I forgot something, or whatever. And they don't let you just destroy the postage or just be done with the postage. No, nothing on your end, yo man. You're fine. There's a lot of Lincoln cents have a slight die rotation. And the way you can actually look for a die rotation is to put the coin in a holder so that there is a bit of the design which is perfectly straight, is perfectly on a seam, going in a perfect direction. So this is what I'm talking about here. If I can get this, you can see that the edge of my plastic, there's the edge of my plastic holder running right along the bottom of the memorial building. So I'll turn it around this way and you'll be able to see that the entire top half of the coin is covered by the edge of the pocket on the holder, and it's twisted just a little tiny bit. I'll take it out of that twist. Yeah, here, I'll do it manually. A degree or two is not ever going to make a difference, because a degree or two is not something anybody looks at, but I took the most of the twist out of it anyway. So now I flip it over and I take a look at the other side and see if it aligns up. And get it so that it's not going to act weird on me. And it looks like it's pretty much leveled up with the Liberty. The date is always cocked over just a little bit, but this looks like it's pretty much perfectly straight up down the way it's supposed to be. And so that's what you look for when you're looking for perfect alignment, or you're looking for an exact degree of alignment off. You can use a ruler and basically draw a line on your flip that measures the exact angle that you're off, so you can use a little protractor to find your rotation difference. There's also small protractor lens things made by companies that make coin supplies. You can get them from a coin supply dealer like Wizard Coin Supply, and you can put a coin inside this thing and turn the little dial until the line matches exactly with a straight part of the design. Like, for instance, for wheat cents, you could use it for the tops of the letters of cent, align that up perfectly. Or for the memorial cent, the roof or the floor or some part of the memorial building design. And you flip it over and you look at the other side, and it's going to tell you if you're off. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. This holder did not get I didn't get everything straight up in the flip, and it bothers me, so I'm redoing the flip. And okay, there we go. Much better. There we go. This one's for Eric Beyer. It's coin number 44. Right after we get done with this broadcast, I'm going to go ahead and get my dinner and eat something, and then I will come back. I come up here at around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning usually, and I come up with a cup of coffee, and I go back down around noon, maybe have a boiled egg or something like that, maybe a peanut butter sandwich or something simple. And I come back up, and I usually spend until 6:30, 7 o'clock up here, and then I go downstairs. And when I'm cooking dinner, I spend until about 4:30, and then I go down and cook dinner. But when I'm not cooking dinner, I'll spend until about 6:30, 7 up here, and then I'll go back downstairs, and I'll eat something really quick for dinner. And then I come back up, and I'm up here until midnight. And that's, something like 6 days a week. I spend a lot of time dealing with my coins in here. There's another one of our RPMs. This is another example of the RPM that we've been pulling out of this particular roll. Well, Jeff, I appreciate that. I'm thinking through things that I can talk about during the different reveals so that we're not repeating the same stuff over and over and over again. And there's times where we can just talk about pretty much anything. Doesn't have to be coin related all the time. I'm sure I definitely appreciate a regular conversation of sorts. Sounds like I live the life of a business owner. I think I do. Pretty much. Don't do the full-time job. I don't work for anybody else anymore. And that, to me, is pay enough. Because everything I do, every bit of income that I make, is my income. It's not income for a business that I'm getting paid a salary from. It's mine. It's me. So a later dice state example here. I have seen one of these up to this point. So this will be a second one I'm seeing. It's a Philadelphia mint. Yep, very late dice state all the way around. Lots and lots of die wear. JC Will, hear me out. Email address CD, my initials, cd@coppercoins.com. Send me an email there. I'll get it. I'll see it. And I'll respond. cd@coppercoins.com. It's been my primary email address for 23 years now. It's amazing that we're talking about things on the internet and we're talking about approaching a quarter of a century. I never had any idea that the roll reveals would be this kind of a success. I kind of expected that there would be a number of people wanting to participate in purchasing coins that I would be using as the basis coins for working and building copper coins, but I never expected the live part of it. This live viewership is actually quite unexpected. I had expected that I could be doing the reveals at 3 o'clock in the morning if I wanted to, and nobody would really care. I even thought about doing them as filmed events and then just uploading them as a video. But turned out I did one live and I did another one live. At first I was kind of having a little bit of trouble getting traction with them. I was trying to do, it's like I think one of my first rolls was a 2019 plain roll that had double dies in it. And I think it was early in 2019 was the first ones of these I did, I think in May. And I think I charged 50 cents a coin to go through them. It's just a trial thing. It took me a while to sell through all of them, but I did. Hello, Shannon. You're welcome, Joe. 72 reveals. I'll be doing at least one of them tonight, Tim. I may have to push the other one to tomorrow, depending on how late we go. Here's coin number 49. We've got 2 coins left in this roll. Doug Reese gets this one. Coin number 49 is a Philly mint. We've seen this die before because of the heavy die scratches running east and west through the date. So I know this is an original source, 1959D mixed roll. Never seen it. This is the first time I've seen something that mirrors this idea. I've seen something like it before. I've seen 1979D with circulated coins inside the roll. I've seen 1969S bank wrapped rolls that had 69D and 69 plain inside of them. But I have never seen a 1959D or plain. Financial institution wrapped roll, which is what this was, that contained both mints from original source, because we are repeating dies on Philly and Denver. So in other words, we're getting the same die over and over again in both Philadelphia and Denver coins in this roll. So it tells me both sources, the Philadelphia source and the Denver source, were original sources. And there we go. Well, we've got 50 coins, and the report is not great. It's good, but not great. I'm going to flip these back up on here because they are not anything that I had expected. They're not actually repunch mint marks, so I'll get those back into the fold. So there's our regular coins, and we end up with 3 RPMs. They are the same RPM. Got coins numbered 13, 14, and 24. 13, 14, and 24 belong to Paul Hampton, Mike Birchman, and Quads.com. So that's what we've got for now, and that's it. And we're going to be back. What did I think I scheduled it for 7. I think I'm going to have to schedule it for 8. So we'll be back at, I think I'm going to do 8 o'clock tonight, and probably 5 or 6 p.m. tomorrow to do the other one, because I've got to get ready for tomorrow's auction. Tomorrow's auction will be a mixture between, I think we're going to do some toned coins and maybe a few decent, nice early date coins. And then we'll do some more rolls like we did yesterday. So that'll be for the auction tomorrow. But anyway, I appreciate it, folks. I will come back. Let's see, it's 6:44 now. I think I'm going to be back at 8 o'clock. So I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific, to take care of this roll. This one right here is our first 1972. This is an original 1972 Batdorf roll. It's very tightly wrapped. Get this under here. There we go. See if we can get it to focus. Probably not. Not gonna do it. It'll focus at about this level. But it's a 1972 Batdorf wrapped roll. I've got 2 of these. Same source, same everything. So this was going to be the first one we're going to do, and then we'll take care of this one, which is the other roll, 1972 Batdorf wrapped roll. And I'll come back at 8 o'clock. We'll do the other roll. We'll do the 72 roll. And I appreciate it, folks. I'm going to go have some din-din. You guys enjoy your evening if you don't come back. And if you do come back, I'll see you at 8 o'clock.